Well, the mighty Marvel reset is indeed coming, and it has been confirmed by Kevin Feige. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what this means, what heroes could be returning, and why Kevin Feige is choosing his words really carefully, because I think it matters. Well, there's been some pretty long speculation that after Secret Wars, we're going to see some major changes to the MCU. Quite honestly, the storylines have gotten so big, intertwined, and sometimes a little convoluted with hanging threads, well, fans are never going to get resolution to everything. And after more than 20 years of films, well, it might be time for Marvel Studios to simply regroup. Now, like I was saying, Secret Wars is absolutely the perfect avenue for this. And as we've added the Fantastic Four and the X-Men to this new universe, well, it appears it is about time. Now, for a while we speculated after Secret Wars we could get somewhat of a soft reboot of the MCU, emphasizing the word soft. But based on what Kevin Feige has said recently, it sounds like it could be quite a bit bigger of a reset than anybody was expecting. Now, Kevin Feige chose his words very carefully here, but made it clear that after Avengers Secret Wars, there is going to be a singular timeline. Now, this happened at a press junket where Kevin Feige was promoting the Fantastic Four, but wow did he take a lot of questions and reveal a lot of details. Now, at that, Feige suggested a lot of things. Not only could there be a reset, but there would also be major recastings that's going to happen to the X-Men, and we could see other heroes like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers also be recast. Now, at the event, he said, and I quote, "We're utilizing that Secret Wars is not just to round out the stories we've been telling post-Endgame. And you can look at the Secret Wars comics for where that takes you. It very much sets up the future. Endgame literally was about endings. Secret Wars is about beginnings. Reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline, we're thinking along those lines. X-Men is where that will happen next." Now, quite honestly, Kevin Feige's comments here about where they're moving the MCU is something we've touched on quite a few times. And like he's saying, it's a reset, not a reboot. Now, this is a really great choice of words because it allows them maximum flexibility. First and foremost, it's become pretty apparent that the staple, most iconic characters are what franchises need to lean on. The Tony Starks and the Steve Rogers, Peter Parkers, and Wolverines. Those characters are the characters people connect to. Now, it doesn't mean characters like Sam Wilson or Riri Williams won't be in this new universe, but it does sound like Marvel is going to adopt a little bit of a different model moving forward. Now, the fact that they're going to completely recast the X-Men, I noticed he didn't say the Fantastic Four, by the way. Well, that suggests to me there's going to be an outward overhaul of the whole universe, probably leaving several characters in place and several new castings coming on board for the future. Now, we're going to be able to extrapolate a couple things from this. Obviously, characters are going to be replaced, so whoever's going to be replaced, well, they'll be in it for the long haul. And the characters that are left behind played by those original actors. For example, I don't see any need to replace Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk, or Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel. I think those characters will just continue to move forward just in this reset universe. Now, when the smoke clears, we have to ask what we're going to get, and I think I have an idea of how Secret Wars is going to end. More than likely, Marvel Studios is going to set up this new world and give us a bit of a montage featuring the return of many of these characters. We're likely to see New York City, the X-Mansion, the Baxter Building, Avengers Tower, and maybe even Doctor Strange's mansion, along with many of the supporting characters that may or may not have been recast. Now, like I said, I think some familiar faces will carry forward. I really do think Benedict Cumberbatch will continue to play Doctor Strange. I think Chris Hemsworth is going to continue to play Thor. But I do think many new faces will be integrated into the universe, so Marvel can go back and tell some classic tales they were unable to tell before. Now that they have full access to pretty much every character minus Spider-Man, they can do a lot of things. And after more than 20 years of movies, well, quite honestly, it's kind of time for Marvel to regroup and maybe realign some of these situations. Obviously, we're going to follow what Kevin Feige has had to say very closely. I think this is great news for the Marvel Universe, and hopefully it gives us a whole new world to enjoy in the near future without sacrificing some of the great projects of the past. But we're going to have to wait and see. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.